talk, faith talk, faith talk, faith talk, faith talk. Can you tell me what it is that you're living for? Can you tell me what it is that you're living for? Faith talk, faith talk, faith talk, faith talk, faith talk, faith talk. Can you tell me what it is that you're living for? Can you tell me what it is that you're living for?
Okay, let us begin. Welcome to my faith-centered conversations. Talking about our souls deep within and different ideas about the world's creation. In different faiths we might find inspiration. So let's engage in healthy conversation. Listen on your phone, at home, with your friends, or when you're alone. And let's talk about life and where we belong. This is
Faith Talk, Faith Talk, Faith Talk, Faith Talk, Faith Talk, Faith Talk. Can you tell me what it is that you're living for? Can you tell me what it is that you're living for? Faith Talk, Faith Talk, Faith Talk, Faith Talk, Faith Talk, Faith Talk. Can you tell me what it is that you're living for? Can you tell me what it is that you're living for?
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Faith Talk. My name is Nathan the Day, aka Nathan Day. If you're listening on SoundCloud, you may already know that I've started doing a bit of music in my spare time, and I am a bit of a music enthusiast, but before that I'm an artist and animator. That's my field of speciality, so to speak. But I thought it might be good to just start this little podcast where I try and have some conversations with people with different views of life and views about where we come from and what life is all about. And it originally started as just me having 3 interviews with 3 different people for my uni project that I had this last term. But I thought I might as well use that footage to start a mini sort of podcast series. And so here we are, 2nd episode in. If you haven't heard the first one, I recommend you go and check that out ASAP. It's on my SoundCloud and my YouTube, wherever you're listening. It's on there on my account. So go and check out the first episode first before you come to this one. But yeah, thanks for listening. If you're listening, thanks even more if you listen to the last episode and you're listening to this one. And yeah, just basically, if you want to follow me on social media, the details are in the description. But if, as of this stage, if you're already listening to this episode, most likely you're already following me anyway, because obviously this podcast is not that well known at all at the moment. But I hope it gets a bit bigger. I hope it grows into something where it becomes like a medium for people to have honest conversations about what they believe and any questions they have about whatever faith they have. I myself am a Christian, and I know that even within Christianity there's so many different views and different experiences. So that's kind of what inspired me to try and keep going with this podcast as well. But in this episode I speak to a guy called Scott. He's in the year above me and comes to the same university as me. He's just finished 3rd year as well. But in this episode he talks about his views as an agnostic and sort of his general beliefs about the world and what he thinks he can still learn from and admire in other religions as well. In this episode I've got 2 new tracks that I'll be playing. The first one is called Losing Myself to Find Me, and it is kind of in line with what the interview is about, which basically is we don't know all the answers, you know. It's about embracing a state of being unsure, and especially for a religious person it can be hard to accept the fact that we have doubts. And I think doubt is a necessary part of the journey. It's okay to have doubts. I personally believe that having doubts isn't the opposite of faith. In fact, it's something that can develop your faith, because through having doubts, you ask the right questions and you try and connect with your faith in a deeper level. So the song is just basically about embracing doubts and losing yourself, literally losing yourself in uncertainty and being open-minded to learn. And in doing that, in embracing that lost space, in that state of uncertainty, in that space you can find yourself, because you're being true to yourself and you're being honest about where you can't find the answers. So that's what the song's called, Losing Myself to Find Me. So I'm going to play that track first, and straight after that I'm going to go into the interview. In between there might be a Freestyle Friday track that I previously recorded. If you haven't heard the Freestyle Friday tracks or any of them, I recommend go and check that out ASAP before you even progress with this interview. But yeah, I'll play one of those Freestyle Friday tracks that I posted before on my SoundCloud in the middle, and then at the end I've got another new track that also ties in with what is discussed in the interview as well. The 2 new tracks that I play this episode will be shared later on in the week or the week after the time that I post this episode. So stay tuned for that. Follow me on Instagram to get the latest on when these new tracks will be uploaded separately on my SoundCloud and maybe my YouTube as well. But yeah, thanks again for tuning in, guys, and enjoy this episode.
Nathan Day in the building. What's so crazy? Who's gonna save me? Ever since a baby, been questioning what I'm living for. Like to think there's a reason that I'm breathing. We're acting like we're woke, or do we actually sleepwalk? What am I living for? What am I living for? I'm back in my hometown, sitting on the 174. On the way to my relative's house, purple ribbons on the railings. In memory of a young soul lost to violence, she was taken too early. I could die any day now, I could die any day now. Scared of death, I don't know how. What's on the other side? We're asking this all the time. Lost my heart trying to find my mind. Lost my trust trying to find a sign. Was I really intelligently designed? Losing myself trying to find me. 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 Searching every day. Searching every day. Searching every day. Trying to find my way. Losing myself trying to find me. 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 Searching every day. Searching every day. Searching every day. Trying to find my way. Losing myself in the news, losing myself in the booze, losing myself in the old school tunes with my mates in the rave, cause that's how we do. Losing myself in what other people choose to name cool, still living life like I'm in school. Losing my peace, just trying to find my piece of the pie that they keep on the privileged side. Where should I reside? Cause right now I'm in a space in between having faith and doubting in my mind. Is it okay to question God and yet pray? Is it okay to not be okay with religion? In between the supernatural and superstition, man, I'm on a mission. Maybe I should lose my pride to find my position in the universe, letting go of my reasoning to know how my creator works. They say it's so absurd, there's a God we serve. I don't know, you don't know, we don't know. What you know, it might be worth the search. I know there's oxygen, though I can't see it. I never see the pilot on the plane, but I'm trusting in the promise of a destination. So isn't God the same? Shouldn't I be patient and lose myself so I can find me? Losing myself trying to find me. Losing myself trying to find me. Losing myself trying to find me. Searching every day. Searching every day. Searching every day. Trying to find my way. Losing myself trying to find me. 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 Searching every day. Searching every day. Searching every day. Trying to find my way.
Matthew 10:39. Jesus said, whoever finds their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. What are you willing to lose to live in the truth? What are you willing to lose to live in the truth? Losing myself in faith to find my purpose. Losing myself in discovery to find faith. Losing my relativity to find the truth. How much of losing my worldview can I take? Give us a second, cause some of us are struggling to see the relevance of the reverend when the world is dying and leaders are lying. Bishop saying we should pray whilst they prey on children. Hard to separate our views of God from views of institutions. Retribution is our favourite solution. So if there's really a God up there, should they follow our blueprint? Whatever God people want to believe in, why don't they intervene the way we want them? Men have made gods claiming they're responding. So is any God real or are we fronting? My human mind cannot fully contain it. Can I accept my morality's tainted? Is it true the Bible's not outdated? Was the universe really orchestrated? Should I open my mind and stop feeling jaded? What's it gonna take for me to be persuaded? Should I lose full understanding to find the reason that I was created.
Losing myself trying to find me. Losing myself trying to find me. Losing myself trying to find me. Searching every day. Searching every day. Searching every day. Trying to find my way.
So, would you want to just quickly introduce yourself? So, just your name and what you do.
My name is Scott McPherson Davis, otherwise known as Scott McDavis. I'm in my third year doing BA Honours Animation, and I'm expecting to do Masters pretty soon.
And what is like your faith or just belief generally?
Well, I like to, when someone asks me that question, I just like to tell them that I'm spiritual or a spiritualist, just because it's easier to say. But I guess the long version is that, in a sense, I believe that we're connected to something larger. And, there's been a load of different theories at the moment about multiple universes, parallel universes. And this is shown especially in contemporary media. And I'm quite interested in that as well. And it may be that all of existence is possibly an infinite loop of realities kind of overlapping each other. But then all of those other different worlds have their own terms and conditions, which makes it possible for them to sustain. Because from my animation studies, if you imagine I'm sort of like the creator of a world that I create, but I'm sort of giving that the rules and how that works and stuff. So what's to say that there isn't someone or something out there doing the exact same thing with this world? That's how I see it.
Okay. And what was your upbringing like? So did you grow up in any sort of religious environment, or your parents or in your family, do they have the same sort of worldview as you?
My family were never really that religious, I'd say. I don't remember too many times during my childhood where we would actually have to go to church besides weddings. So we were kind of like an agnostic sort of family where, there might be a God, but then there might not be. So we were kind of, open-minded, I guess. But I was brought up with values such as like politeness and treating others with respect. And I think that's similar to a lot of other religions as well. And I do believe that if you treat others badly and intend on harming people and doing wrong, then it will just come back in some form and you're going to have a bad time, which is why I strive to be the best in how I treat others, because I want to respect myself as well.
Okay. And so through your life, how have you formed your own independent beliefs about existence and morality? And if largely, so, how have you done that?
Yeah, largely. I guess it comes down to being influenced by a bunch of different things growing up. And that's not just to say that's cartoons and anime. It's just sort of in general. And then my own life experience ties into that. I did want to mention that, I'm not saying this is like fixed or fact or whatever, but a part of me that thinks that maybe autism has something to do with it, because it offers a different way of seeing the world and relating to people. And it's been reported that people on the spectrum or have autism have average to above average intelligence. So there may be something more there. But it wasn't until I found out that I had it that it made me kind of question my place within society and the world and my position relative to other people. So I strived to understand what it was that made me different to everyone else. And that naturally involved trying to understand reality itself, as we're all connected to the same physical world. I did struggle with it a lot through life, and including bullying and through school and stuff like that. But to be honest, I look at that back in retrospect, and it was probably just banter, and I just misinterpreted it. But I used that frustration and discontentment with how things were as motivational fuel to overcome those struggles.
Okay, so how do your sort of basic morals like influence your everyday life? So you talked about, doing right unto others. So because kind of like
it's
a karma.
Like, yeah,
is that what you do?
treating others with respect. Yeah, karma,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, I believe there is some sort of karmic force where, if you do, if you do, if you're mean, then if you continue to be mean to people, then you are gonna kind of, feel bad about it at some point during the long term. You will.
And have you actually seen that materialize in your life? Like,
oh yeah. This as especially.
What's the biggest example?
This has especially been the case throughout university, and to be honest, I kind of have a justification for it, because it was a transition of change where a lot of different things were happening, and there were 1,000 ways of how I could just turn a little mistake into a big thing that could jeopardize my life, because I'm very anxious and I constantly try to keep aware of keeping up with things with age, and that sort of pressure or stress naturally changes to trying to be kind of more kind of assertive and aggressive, because one thing that people would often point out to me is that, oh, you're too nice. You're too nice. You give too many people. You give people too many chances. Don't be a doormat. Stand up for yourself. Stick up for yourself. But these were concepts that I hadn't been used to. So it's not like I had to try and teach myself what those meant. But that often at times kind of meant stepping a line, because I wouldn't know where the line was drawn. So the more I kind of made mistakes to do with that, the more I could see the line, and that's where I know not to cross it. And I'm just like, okay, this is where the line is now. So I can stand up for myself, but not, not be really mean about it.
Guess we're all trying to make it, trying to be celebrities. On a couple K, trying to live out a dream. Some of us will do anything to get the cream, even risking getting cancelled like Cardi B. Risking getting cancelled like Cardi B. When you have a certain past, they just hit you with critique. Every time you speak your mind, get ready for their beef. Finding reasons to get you cancelled like Cardi B. Cancel culture, cancel culture. White pop rappers, we just call them vultures. Everything around us, we try give labels, expecting standards of which we're not able. Yeah, we be hating on the low, judging people's insides by what is shown. Always throwing shade, what is so cold. Might as well let go like I'm J. Cole. Yeah, I'm trying to learn to check on people, not checkmating people. Better practice what you're preaching when you're on that steeple. Nobody wants to be nameless, but there's a gift and a curse to being famous. Trying to make it, trying to be celebrities. On a couple K, trying to live out a dream. Some of us will do anything to get the cream, even risking getting cancelled like Cardi B. Risking getting cancelled like Cardi B. When you have a certain past, they just hit you with critique. Every time you speak your mind, get ready for their beef. Finding reasons to get you cancelled like Cardi B. Even in the spotlight, make one mistake, you ain't living right. Where's your room to grow? How to understand your idols when they're siding with your rivals, so you block their tunes on title. Look to your own opinion, you're entitled. I'm just saying, judge yourself before you judge a man struggling under the responsibility of their title. Pray for him, don't just sleep on him, wish peace to him. Your favorite rapper probably threatened many lives just to get a peace of mind. So when someone like Cardi's being honest about manipulating, why you so surprised? Better practice what you're preaching when you're on that steeple. Nobody wants to be nameless, but there's a gift and a curse to being famous. Hey. And on a couple K, trying to live out a dream. Some of us will do anything to get the cream, even risking getting cancelled like Cardi B. Risking getting cancelled like Cardi B. When you have a certain past, they just hit you with critique. Every time you speak your mind, get ready for their beef. Finding reasons to get you cancelled like Cardi B. Risking getting cancelled like Cardi B. Risking getting cancelled like Cardi B.
what about like negatives? Do you feel like you've done something negative before that has probably come back to you at some point? And if so,
I don't know, because I was usually well behaved and good through school. I did take 3 years out between sixth form and university, and I was, in kind of a little bit selfish way, but wasn't, still trying to figure out what to do in my life. So, maybe it could have something to do with like relying on my mum a lot and like not helping around enough. But honestly don't know.
And last question, what positive traits do you think you can personally learn from any religion? So it doesn't have to be Christianity, any religion that you know of. Is there anything that you've looked at regarding that religion and you're like, wow,
Yeah,
maybe that might be true, or maybe I could learn from that?
yeah. I do believe that someone who is brought up in a religion or is adopting a religious belief or perspective, they can definitely benefit with some traits out of it. I have a list here of things like, for instance, humility is a good one, discipline, hope, determination, resolve, selflessness, charity, kindness, clarity, organization, structure, routine, and I guess just all around positivity.
So were you thinking about specific religions when you were listing those things? Or?
I think Buddhism and Hinduism are especially prominent religions that go along these beliefs. But then there are quite a few others that you could talk about that practice and preach the same thing. For instance, Islam. I feel like there is a broad kind of misinterpretation to do with Islam because of what's being reported in the news and everything at the moment, when in actual fact it is by design a very peaceful religion, if you've ever read the Quran. So a lot of what they practice and preach is peaceful, but obviously because of social and political circumstances, they've been kind of being shown in a very bad light in the press and the media at the minute, which is a shame.
Yeah. So what would you say to someone who is an outright atheist, basically? So someone who says there definitely is no God and there's definitely no supernatural force beyond us. How would you try and challenge their views or make them think more widely?
Well, I would just straight up say that they don't actually know that for certain. But then again, it's a belief, so you can't really like attack it. Because if they do believe, there's a difference between believing in that there isn't a God and pushing that belief on other people by saying there is no God, you're wrong. When in actual fact, they just need to understand that it is just a belief. They don't hold all the answers. And that's exactly why these are beliefs. It's to fill those gaps. Because there's a danger of not realizing that and tipping into, I wouldn't call it like becoming radical about it, but it's kind of losing the way a bit and just taking it a little bit kind of like over seriously. Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah. And have you had any friends of different beliefs and different backgrounds?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And,
yeah.
How, like, if you could give a few examples and how you've sort of still coexisted with them and been friends with them. What bonded you together?
I think in spite of different beliefs, there is a sort of fact that we are all just human beings with our own personal feelings and quirks and ways of communicating. And it's just a simple fact that if you like someone from spending enough time with them, no matter what they believe, then you'll like them. In actual fact, one of my exes came from a Catholic background. She wasn't like completely like, I think, Protestant Catholic, and she didn't adopt the Catholic thing too much. She was kind of more like liberal about things, but she still came from that background, so she still got some of those like values and stuff like that. And sometimes it just may be the case that I might just have different values to that, which sometimes that can make and break or a connection. But No, it definitely doesn't create any bad blood. I think if two people can just sit down and kind of talk out their beliefs and kind of respect and understand one another's point of view, then absolutely, yeah, I think that's fine.
And have you encountered any people from a religious background who may have tried to impose their faith a little bit too much? And if so, what would you have liked to see more from them?
I don't know. I mean, we've had like Jehovah's Witnesses on doorsteps from time to time, and one time or another I might have seen some people around in town kind of like giving out leaflets about asking about whether God is real. I don't know. They have their own mission, and I think they're not trying to like harm or hurt anyone. I mean, the Jehovah's Witness knocking on doors may be a little bit like prying or like annoying, but it's like whatever. They're not doing anything illegal. They're just trying to push their own mission and try and help people find a place in the world. And I think that's completely fine. I think what they should just do is just not step over the line and try and make it like a huge cult thing and trying to gain like a following and trying to brainwash people and everything like that and try and dogmatize. I think it's just recognizing that we all live in a kind of multicultural society where we all have different opinions and beliefs, and you've got all sorts of people from all different walks of life living in the UK, and that's one of the things I love the most about this country.
Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, no worries. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you to the people who use their voices to speak and decide to be unique. For the strong and the weak, the proud and the meek. This one's for you. Yeah. 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 Thank you to the people staying true, being unique and preaching exactly what they do. Different walks of life collide and cope with different cultures. Our skin colours make kaleidoscopes of vibrant life and hope. This one's for the kids living blasé, and the only class they know is moving that class A. Thank you to the people about that street life. Even though they carry knives inside, they've got an inner drive. And if they channel it right, they can be a beacon of light, showing those from an all-time low they can learn to fly. Thank you to the homeless for reminding me how much I'm blessed and to be humble, cause life can hit you when you're unprepared. Thank you to the pastors, deacons, gurus, Hindus, any spiritual leader putting themselves in other shoes, being compassionate in a world that is so immediate, still loving those misportraying them in the media. Thank you to the immigrants from Europe and Africa and Asia, South America, working in my area, building the backbone of Western civilization. Despite their terror, suffering at the white man's errors, but we're a new era. Thank you to the blind people who help us see perseverance clearer. They're my whole dearer. Thanks to the autistic for being world-changing thinkers. Thanks to the limbless for showing us we're limitless. Here's an ode to diversity. I remember year 6, I loved my school community. I felt unity in a mostly Asian school. Man, they welcomed me, helps me be a better me, hope they remember me. My diverse relationships give me great memories. Thanks to my atheist friends for showing honesty. Thanks to my Muslim friends for showing modesty. Thanks to my agnostic friends who always try and make amends and show me to put relationship over religiosity. Cause it's mediocrity when you act holier than thou. We need generosity to change the world, not being proud. Us human beings are so messed up, but we're also beautiful. All these colours and creeds, our talent so bountiful. Something so amazing about the human spirit that's got me feeling so damn lifted. Every day I wake up, every day I bake up, every day I get my cake up and stack my cash up. Every day I look up to the sky and say, what's up? Yo, who made me? Yo, who should I be grateful for? Who's the one who opens skies like an open door and lets the rain pour? Man, who's the one who made all 7 billion of us and put a superpower in our hearts called love? Who made the sun, the galaxies and the stars, and all the billions of things still yet to be embarked upon? Whoever they are, they're a don. So I respond by finding my purpose, cause to my creator I belong. Cause I'm amazed, I'm in a daze. I give praise to whoever gave me another day to say hey to the people I see every day. I give praise, don't know what else that I can say. With all this beauty in my life, I gotta say thank you to whoever has paved the way for life as we know it to exist today. I give him praise, I give him praise, I give him praise, yeah, I give him praise, cause I'm amazed, yeah. Every day you wake up with breath in your lungs, how is that so? You say it's because of a biological process, but really, it's hard to digest because I just look at myself and I think, I'm special. I'm special. I was made for a purpose. So someone's out there. Someone's out there.
So yeah, that was the end of the episode. Thank you once again for listening. If you've listened to the whole thing, I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't just listen. I want you guys to interact. There's a comment section, both on YouTube and on SoundCloud. Comment your opinions. Comment what you are inspired by. If you send me a DM, I appreciate it. But also, if you could put your opinions and feedback in the comment section as well, that would be great, because you might even have something to add to what has been discussed today. What do you think about Scott's opinions? Do you believe in karma? Do you believe in karma like him? Do you believe that the things that we do have direct consequences on our lives? Like do things go full circle in life? Do you believe in that? Put down your opinions. And also, just as a side note, do you think it's possible to be an atheist? As far as I know, being an atheist means you believe all of creation came from nothing. But is that even possible? Let's sensibly start this debate in the comment section. Or if you rather not, then fine. But it's just great to have an honest discussion with you guys. And if you do want to have a discussion with me, and also have an interview with me, you can send me a message on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. All my social media details are in the descriptions below this podcast. Whether you're listening on YouTube or on SoundCloud, there's a link to my social media. You can send me a message on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. We can work out the logistics of how we're going to do the interview. So if you're living very far away from me, then we'll see what we can do. We might just have a video chat or something, or like a Discord chat or a Skype chat or something like that. I'm going to be posting the new track that I premiered in this series. It might be 1 or 2 as of the time I'm recording. I don't know, but when you're listening, by that time you will know if I've posted one new song or 1 or 2 new songs. All of the new songs that are played in the podcast will be posted later in the week that I post the episode. So whatever week I'm posting this episode in, later on in that week or maybe the week after, I'll be posting the new tracks that I've premiered in this episode separately. So that will be either later in the week or the following week of the posting of this podcast. But once again, guys, thank you for listening, and keep your minds open. Keep having these healthy conversations about faith, and just have a think about where you come from, why you're here, and why you believe what you believe. It's good to have your own opinion, but as long as you can explain why you have those beliefs and research other people's beliefs to validate your own, then I think that is okay. Peace, guys. Thank you.